Okay. So since you've since it's up to me what happens today, which is normally a really dangerous thing for people to do, because more often than not, if someone doesn't speak up, then I have people doing things that they absolutely don't want to in quantities that they absolutely don't want to. But it's Wednesday afternoon, it's chair yoga. I know what is a nice practice for you. So, and also it's the first one back after Christmas. And for me, really more than anything, for each individual group, that's about a reset, taking a little bit of time to reset, come back, come into the year, come into the routine and just wake up the body a little bit. And also the breathing and all of that stuff. So if there's anything that doesn't feel good, don't do it. If there's anything that you just want to do one or two and I'm doing too many, that's totally fine. I do want to spend some time with breathing exercises first. So sitting nice and tall in your chair, always making that little bit of adjustment so that you have a sense of arriving in the class, a little bit of anticipation. And if possible, both feet on the floor. I don't mind whether they're lined up so much with the hips, as long as you're not all squashed up. Nice, plenty of space for the thighs, spread out and feel comfortable. Lower back can be sitting in the chair, and if you want to feel more energetic, the upper back is slightly away from the chair, but that is your choice. So if you are able to close your eyes, just allow them to softly close, wiggle out your shoulders, start to come to a feeling of a sense of symmetry. So your eyes are closed, you don't know whether you are symmetrical, you're just feeling tall. A sense of the spine lengthening up all the way to the base of the neck, base of the head actually. And then a sense of the crown of the head lengthening up towards the ceiling. So we can just sort of go through this whole mechanic of being tall. So anyone can plonk themselves down on a chair. When we arrive in the class, the idea of just adjusting how we sit before we start, even if we're already sitting in seated mountain, is to really give us a sense of preparedness. So I'd just like to talk through the pattern of the spine. So as you sit on your chair, you should be able to track the waves of your spine as they go up from the tail, which is tucked slightly under, right at the base of the chair in the corner. It curves outwards into the chair. So that's your sacrum coming out. Coccyx is the tailbone. Sacrum presses out and into the chair. Then as your spine curves away and away from the back of the seat, that's your lumbar region. As you come up through your lumbar region, it starts to curve out again towards the chair, and that's your thoracic spine. Curves out and then it goes back in. And as it goes back in towards the top of the shoulders and the neck, that curve inwards, that's your cervical spine, and that's the bit that connects your head to the rest of your body. So those are the lovely curves of your chair. And whenever we do movements where you know that your flesh is not moving away from the chair particularly, but we're working with the spine, then you can think of those sections of the spine, the S shapes, connecting towards and moving away from the back of the chair. That's more important, the pressure and release, than actually being away from the chair particularly, because we all have different body sizes and we all have different chairs. So got a lovely sense of natural curving all the way through. Bum is sitting really heavily, so the hips are feeling very spread out. The thighs are very spread out. The knees are not allowed to just flop out. They're just slightly kept in line with the legs. So even if your legs are wide, think about the bones, the thigh bone that runs from the hip joint all the way down the leg, and we want to keep it in a nice straight line so there's no random flopping. And the feet are just very lightly connected to the ground. So again, they're not placed there in a haphazard way. They are connected to the ground. There's a sense of lining up the feet with the ankles, with the knees, with the hips. So it's coming to a place of intention. Hands can always rest wherever they want, but if you want your chest to open and your shoulders to relax, palms up is useful. And if your hands are cold, you can bring them right into your lap, make a little bowl shape here. There you go. There's a little lecture on spine and alignment. And you can stay really tall and let the breathing start to happen. Let it happen to you. So sometimes the nice thing about all of that chat, the way I approach it anyway, in any class, is that you can always tune me out, you know how to. But also it gives your brain something to think about while your breath regulates itself. So by the time we finish talking and I say come to the breath, more often than not, the breath is already settled, smoothed out, even and natural. And if it's not, because perhaps you've become irritated by all the talk, then you can take a few extra breaths to settle in. Otherwise, let's just see about the possibility of expanding that breath somewhat. I'm not going to dictate how much, just make it slightly more intentional. Feel the expansion through the front of the body as you breathe in. And feel that softening and relaxing down into the seat as you breathe out. Try and keep those nice tall curves in the spine. Really breathe like you mean it. Breathing is a reflex, so we don't really think about it. When you breathe like you mean it, it has a profound effect on the rest of the body. And if you're managing to make those breaths just a little bit longer, a little bit smoother, can you become aware of the ripple through the whole body as you breathe, particularly from the seat all the way up to the top of the head? There is a subtle movement, and if you can tap into that subtle movement, the lift, and that feeling of resting as you breathe out, you might be able to exaggerate it somewhat so that the lift, particularly as you breathe in, is pronounced. Shoulders stay down, don't pull your shoulders to your ears. But then as you breathe out, instead of pronouncing that release, hold your spine tall and allow your front of your body to pull in a little bit towards the spine. Now you might not feel it, from the front, but from the inside you'll feel it. And then all of a sudden that sort of up and down sense of breathing becomes a forward and backward sense of breathing. So the front of the body comes forward. As you breathe in, your spine's already tall. And then as you breathe out, you can gently start to press the front of the body back. It almost feels like a sort of hollowing sensation inside the body. Slight tension. Inhale. Expand forward. Exhale. Draw in. Try that for 3 more. If you're tired or if it's giving me a headache, then you can stop. It's not so much a clench as a sweep. Last one. Very nice. Let your breath settle back to normal, and if there's any tension in how you're sitting, let it go. And in fact, let's bring the hands down by the sides and just gently shake off the arms in quite a wibbly way. Start with the hands and the fingers, the wrists, then expand, sort of increase the wobble all the way up to the shoulders. Maybe make it quite a loose wiggle into the shoulders, the chest. This is really to release tension. Breathing exercises, the way we just did them, can really bring a sort of a tension into the body. So wiggle out the shoulders, tops of the neck feels nice. And let's just turn the head softly from side to side. Just work with the breath if you want to. Exhale to turn, inhale to center. Exhale to turn. Keep that crown lifting but not stiff. So turning from side to side. I think that everything I do is biased because quite a lot of the strength work I'm doing at the moment is upper back, and my neck always feels quite tight. I am working on releasing it all the time and improving my techniques. But sometimes it's surprising how breathing calms the nervous system, but it tenses the body quite a lot at times. When you next turn to the, let's say, right, we'll come back to center and bring the chin in towards the chest, not deeply, just in and up, a little scoop, and start to draw small smiles in the air with your chin in front of you. And you can close your eyes as you do this because, I mean, if you're anything like me, it makes you feel a bit seasick watching the world sway from side to side. And all we're doing is a little movement of the head sitting on top of the axis of the neck, the axis rather. If you can feel softness coming into the neck, you can make it quite a big smile, ear to ear. And if this is comfortable for you, you can try this out. I really like this move. Normally we do it upside down, but just to keep it a little lighter, I'm going to do it seated here. Come back to center, but keep your chin drawing a little bit inwards and upwards. Weave your fingers together in front of you and bring your hands to the back of your head, right to the base where you can feel that little dip at the base of the skull. And then gently let the weight of your arms and your hands draw your head down so that the chin draws up towards more upwards, like you're pulling your chin towards the ceiling. If it feels bad, don't do it, or come to here and then remove your hands. But if you like that deep, deep stretch, you can just let that weight slowly, slowly stretch out the very top of the spine. So the reason I like this is because it really gets to a part of my back that I can't get to otherwise, which is just that last little curve of the cervical spine at the base of the neck. So if that feels nice, you can just have one more breath. You can release anytime, remember. Very nice. When you're ready, gently on an inhale, lift the head back up. Let's take the left hand down to the side. I'm not mirroring you, so you can copy or follow the lefts and rights. Bring your right hand to your shoulder. Release your head, release your neck, and just do shoulder circles on one side. Let your whole body be fluid, so there's no reason to tense up, but do try to keep the spine really, really tall. Lovely. And when you're ready, go back the other way. It's interesting to focus the sensation just on one shoulder. And hopefully this is going to help your arm not get too tired. Lovely. And then when you're ready, you can just switch sides. Pick the other side, draw circles with your elbow. Try and make them as comfortable as you want. So if you are feeling quite clicky and tight, then you might want to make it smaller and floppier. But if you're actually feeling quite strong and mobile, then bigger, slower movements are useful. Because bigger, slower movements build strength. Okay. So bring your elbow forward. So with the left hand, just bring that elbow forward, bring the other hand and the other elbow forward as well. And we're just going to keep the upper arms floating forward, and 3 little movements here from the elbow. So bring the hands forward and then draw them back. Just do that 3 times. Keep breathing naturally through all of this. The temptation is to hold your breath because we're not breath synchronized. Lovely. Last one. And then bring the elbows in, tuck them right in as much as you can, and then bring the arms down and then up. Squeeze the elbows in. You can pull your belly in if you want to work harder for these, but I think these are quite a lot of work on the shoulders and the arms anyway. Lovely. Take the arms out wide and bring your fingertips together at the chest, but keep your elbows elevated. 1, 2, I'm squeezing my shoulder blades, and 3. Lovely. And release the arms down by the sides. Circle softly up, keep your elbows relaxed. Hands to heart on the exhale. 2 more, inhale, circle up, really soft circles. Exhale. Lovely, last one, inhale, circle up. Exhale, hands down. Bring the right hand down to the side of the chair. You can hold on if you want. Take the left arm up for a side stretch. So we're just going to keep both hips planted and exhale into your side stretch. Reach away as much as you want. You can relax the upper arm if you want. Inhale for coming up, switch sides. Make this work for you. So if you straighten out your arm and reach into space and really intensify, you'll get tired really quickly. If you keep your elbows soft, but push your hips down, you're going to get a good stretch and maintain good strength as well. So I would say the middle ground is much more effective here. Okay, one more, right and left, at your own pace, and then we'll do some twists. Now remember, if your arms start to get tired, you don't have to keep waving them up in the air. You can do all of this with the arms down as long as you keep your alignment. So keep the arms soft as they're up, and we'll twist right hand to left thigh to the left. So turn your chest to the left, turn your head to the left, but not all the way over your shoulder. On your next inhale, come back to center, arms up if you've got the energy, or down if not, and then go the other way. So we're just working with the breath to start with. We're not holding anything. Inhaling to center, exhaling to twist. So familiar with these twists that hopefully finding your technique is not going to be too hard, but definitely don't hoik your neck. Last one, left and right. Just natural breaths. Stuff. And we'll come to center when you've finished. No rush at all. Hands to the heart. Let's carry on with these little twists. Keep your elbows in if your arms are tired. Take them out wide if you want to work into your shoulders. Deep breath in. And this time, can we pull the belly in as we twist? So keep your head in line with your fingers and exhale to squeeze. It's not a big movement, it's a squeeze. Inhale to center and then exhale to squeeze. So the focus here is more about strengthening into the obliques, which is the waist muscles, and a little bit in the abdomen. So I'm less bothered about sort of softly does it, big wavy movements. It's more about small, tight, little intense twists. So I want you to be able to feel your middle. And so if your arms are getting tired, it's quite important to let them go. Your arms are getting tired. Really nice. One more, left and right. Beautiful. Come back to center, shake out the arms. You look like I've already tired you out. Have you, or is that just the screen? No, you're all good. Awesome. Glad to hear it. I just don't like to tire the arms out too quickly. So let's just do a little bit with legs before we come back to upper body. We will hold some of those upper body movements. What I'd like to do first is just take the legs out a little bit wide, not loads wide. Maybe the width of the chair is sort of where I've gone to. We will go wider. And just use your, like, can you push a little bit into your feet? Not so much that it hurts your knees, but just a little bit. And you got to clench your bum just a touch for this one. And just put your hands on the inside of the knees and slightly push them out, and then relax. And then exhale to push them out, and then inhale to relax. So my hips aren't very bendy, that my legs don't open out that wide. So this, I can feel that little resistance in the hip, and that's what I'm looking for. So think of it as the equivalent of using a resistance band. So using the hands to squeeze into the hip joints. And if you can, we'll do 3 more pulses like this. 3, 2, I can tell I'm working because my chair's creaking. And 1, and come back to center. And we'll have some hip circles. We can do it however you like. So there's the picking up and drawing circles in the air, or there's the drawing the circles on the floor, or there's the strap around the foot, which actually sometimes is quite nice. Let's see. Strap around the foot. Harness it up, draw the circles. Yeah, that feels good. The nice thing about the strap is that you can get your leg into a position where there's a bit more room. Go lightly. Just maybe 3 one way, 3 the other way, maximum. So many different ways of doing these hip circles. Switch sides when you're done. So we're preparing for our wide leg forward fold. Circles. 1, 2, 3. Your own pace. 1, 2, 3. When you're done, release. Keep the strap nearby. We might use it again. You never know. Always good to have the strap. Take the legs out wide. Toes are out this time. So take the support of the chair. It's so nice to do this with the support. Remember, we want to keep the hips back. It's the stretch on the inner thighs that is what's amazing here. So hands to the front of the chair, shoulders back and down. So chest is lifted. Belly can pull in a little bit if you want to. Hinge down about halfway, literally just about halfway. Your forearms might start to come to your thighs, or you can hold onto your chair. And here, just halfway down, can you rotate your shoulders? So left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. It's a small movement. And then right shoulder forward, left shoulder back. Little twists for the upper back. Your choice. If it doesn't feel good, then you can leave it out. I don't do anything with my neck. I'm just gazing at the floor, getting this little shuffle into my shoulders. Lovely. So if you're all right staying here halfway, come back to center and we'll do our heel lift. So right heel lifts, don't hoik it up. It's the whole journey up that's important, and then the whole journey down. Left heel lifts, whole journey up, whole journey down. So when we do these movements that seem small and somewhat end oriented, they're not. The lift part is it's the mechanic that's important. So where the heel comes to, the top and the up and the down is the least important part. It's the journey between the two that's really important. I hope that makes sense. Pressing into the ball of the feet. So you could potentially do all of this with your toes coming off the floor, because the ball of the foot is what's lifting, is what pressing down, rather, heels lifting. One more, halfway, with just hanging around here, halfway down. Lift both heels and see how your hips feel. Gotta tell you, since I've been strengthening up my heels, my hips, this is all very much more accessible for me. So strengthening up those hips is important. Lovely. If you haven't already, when the heels come down, you can start to, on an exhale, soften all the way down into your wide leg forward fold. And you can dangle here and enjoy it. Try to direct your butt back down into your seat if you're tipping forward a lot. But as long as you've got that nice, that lovely stretch on the backs of the legs, the insides of the thighs, just that general lovely hippy, thigh stretchy feeling that you get in a wide leg forward fold when it's just right. I'm going to say don't mess with a system that works too much. Dangle here, relax your head, relax your shoulders. Let the blood rush to your head. If you are a person with vertigo or blood pressure issues or heart issues, then you may be better off staying halfway. And as usual, I'm down here thinking about how I should have made time to hoover this morning. I'll have to do it tomorrow. One more really deep breath. And let's do those heel lifts again. So I'm not going to get us up too quickly. If you can do the heel lifts, try them again, come up slowly and just hold there. See how your hips feel. There should be no pain here. And try to tense into the hips so you can squeeze your butt muscles. They won't necessarily clench towards each other because you're in a wide leg position, but you can feel your muscles in your backside tense up when you put the intention into it. And you can also tense up your thighs as well. Just see if that brings a little tension into your hips and wakes up some muscles. If it hurts, don't do it. Start to relax all those muscles and gently lower the heels back down if they're lifted. And let's come to a halfway lift. So if your hands are down on the floor, just lengthen up your upper body so it's coming forward a little bit and all of your weight is coming more towards your hands. It's a feeling of pressing slightly into these flat hands, and you can lift your gaze a little bit so it's starting to go forward on your mat or your table or wherever you are. And then if you're comfortable, you can bring your forearms or your hands to your thighs and then gently press into your forearms or your hands. And as you inhale, come up slowly. Just don't want to get too dizzy. Awesome. Really nice. So it's quite a nice deep stretch for the legs, I think. And actually, having done that, I feel like we should do some more work into the legs because they feel a little zingy, a little lively, hopefully. So let's just, you can use a strap if you want, but I think first of all, just for ankles, just lengthen the leg out and do your flexing and extending. You can have them on the floor if you want. I know that we do this every single week, but coming into this year, I'd like to have quite a lot of attention to a more intense movement. So it's not about going painful, it's about slowing it down and really making some of those muscles work and not being afraid of going into effort. Now, I know for you, Ro, going into effort is not a problem. I watch you do it every week. I see the effort happening. But even with these little movements, you can really strengthen up your joints just by slowing these movements down. And then you can make circles. So slow, quite intense circles. And what happens when we do this is it's not about pain. It's about really waking up all the tiny muscles in the joint and noticing how even really slow movements in your ankles can be slightly tiring. Just noticing the difference between muscle work and discomfort and pain. So discomfort and pain is a no, but muscle work where you're like, oh my God, my ankles are tired, this is weird, that's all right. They won't stay tired for very long once we've stopped, but little by little your ankles will get very strong. And the stronger they are, the more mobile they will become. Lovely. So plenty of time on these small movements, and it will also strengthen up your calves. When you've finished that, grab your strap, thread it around the ball of the foot. And here's what we're going to do. I'll work sideways. I mean, you won't be able to see anything. But here's what I'd like you to do. There's no movement in this posture. There's just engagement. Use the strap to help direct your toes back towards your body best you can, and pull, and that's going to help you to pull your heel forward. Now, don't try to mimic the shape of my legs. My legs are quite bendy. From here, take your attention to your thigh and feel like you're plugging your thigh bone back into the hip joint. So it's a little squeeze upwards. And hold that posture and breathe. If you want to, you can pull your belly in if it makes you feel, it'll intensify everything. But this is strengthening as well as stretching. So the stretch is at the back of the legs and the strength is in the hip. One more breath. Lovely. Then you can release that strap and just do a little bit of hinging. And you can do this loosely if you want to. So you've got to tune that one up so that it doesn't feel very uncomfortable where you've got joints replaced. But I can really feel that in my leg and my hip in a good way. So that's what we're trying to learn, how to engage those muscles. So even if it didn't really make that much sense, we'll do it each week and it'll start to make sense. And now if you want to, you can do some floppy stuff with your foot separately. Other side. Foot can be on the floor for this because the focus is on the ankle. So you don't need to work your leg, or you can put your foot up on a stool, or if you've got a pet human, you can get them to kneel on the floor, put your foot up on them. I quite like the idea that someone in chair yoga has got a assistant around the house that they can just lie on the floor, use them as a footstool. So yeah, find that intensity in your ankle. You'll feel it running all the way up the calf. there's often this lovely moment with people in class who wear leggings when these small, and let's be honest, reasonably boring movements are so boring that they have to pay close attention, so they're just watching their foot. And quite often there's a moment where someone will go, oh my God, look at what my calf's doing. And it's like, yeah, this is why it's so important to do these sort of weird, boring movements. Just slowly turn your leg or foot around, circles. Quite intense. I can always feel all the clicks in this foot. And just because it would be hard for me to make this less interesting, I work with a rolfer who releases tissues and muscles. And she did the outside of my calf, massaged it out. And oh my God, it burned so much, and it's been bruised ever since. She did a good job, but because the outsides of my calves are really tight, so I'm paying a lot of attention to trying to help that to not happen anymore. Lovely. So when you've finished, grab your strap, ball of foot. We'll do the floppy as well. Right, there you go. All mechanics. Use your strap to squeeze in. You can keep your elbows tucked in so it's not so intense on your arms, although it's good for your hands. Push those toes, pull those toes back, heels push forward, and then you can close your eyes and just imagine you are plugging your thigh bone back into your hip joint. And it's intense, isn't it? So if you want to, you can also pull your belly in. You're going to start strengthening up your abdomen, but you must breathe. So you can just breathe here. And remember, I'd always rather you had one breath really switched on, and then the rest resting and recovering, than 15 breaths of not really doing it because it feels too much. Just a couple more. Lovely. Just release. Put the strap down for a moment and have your little hinges, just a little bit of loose movement. I'm trying to avoid poking myself on the corner of the chair. Just some nice movement when knees clicking. The clicks, you can't hear them in the room, but they get picked up by the mic. Not always in person, but in the recordings. Okay, a little bit of a shake out of the foot. Lovely. Hopefully the legs feel quite well done, fully done. And so I am thinking about bringing us back into resistance bands going forward. So this is kind of a little bit of a beginning level of that. I'm not sure how I feel about resistance bands. Anyway, arms have had a little bit of a rest. So let's come to our genie arms and we'll come back to twisting. So we're just working our way back up the body. Shoulders need to pull down. And let's just exhale to take the right arm out to the side, twist to the right. So this is more about the shoulder and the chest, not the neck. So just turn to the right. Inhale to center, bring the right arm underneath, left arm out to the side. Chest and shoulder going back. And just keep alternating arms. If you've got the energy, for the next 3 rounds, quite firmly pull your belly in, suck it in, like you're putting on those 2 tight jeans. You don't have to go slowly. I want some strength into the waist. Last one, each side, right and left. And then release the hands down. Do some little shoulder circles, just check in. Go back the other way. Little bit of, well, we're going to finish with cat-cow today. So weave the hands together again into a cradle. We'll do some circles. Just inhale to take the arms up and over best you can, and then exhale down. If you can, 3 one way, 3 the other. If it's too much, then just do 1 and 1 or 2 and 2. Don't have to go too slowly. Keep the body quite fluid. And 3. Lovely. And relax. With fingers together. We'll have some figures of 8, so you can relax your hand and just go for some nice figures of 8. And just check in with the wrists, how they're feeling. So notice which way is your dominant direction. If you close your eyes, you should have a sense that one of your hands is leading. So I can always feel when we do this, I always go over to the right first, over to the right first. So I can feel my right hand is leading, makes sense because I'm right-handed. I'm going to stop and I'm going to try and go over to the left first. Over to the left and then lead with the left hand. Over to the left, lead with the left hand. This has got easier since I've started to strengthen my arms. The coordination has improved as well, but it does make a difference. It's so weird. The whole thing is so weird. Right, when you're ready, release the hands and let's spark the fingers really wide and make some fists. And can you challenge your hands quite a lot? As long as there's no pain and no arthritis today, can you challenge your hands quite a lot? Make those fists as tight as you can, spread them out as much as possible. Okay, so I'm going to give you 2 options with our wrist strengthening. You can either do it the way we normally do it in the air. If you're able to use your lap, try using your lap. So let's start by having the hands palms down, forward on the lap, and keep your heels of your hands pressing in and lean forward and see if you can draw your hands back. So you're actually bending into your wrists. Can you see what I'm doing? Does that make sense? So I start with the hands forward, then I lean in and draw the hands back and press into the thighs. So I'm actually using my body to pull my arms forward. If it doesn't make sense, then do it the standard way. Good stretch to the back of the hands there. Come back the other way, come back. And then if you can, turn your hands around and draw the hands back. Elbows stay tucked in tightly, and then do the same thing again. You won't go as far. Press your tops of your knuckles. It's horrible. It's quite horrible. Press the tops of your knuckles. Yeah, do it the standard way if you're not sure. Tops of the knuckles into the thighs. So I'm using my body weight to stretch out my wrists, and otherwise it is this variation, which is a great variation, actually. Yeah. Do your fingers as well. So it's not just wrists and knuckles, it's fingers as well. And again, you can do it the standard way using your opposite hand to stretch out each of your fingers, or you can use your legs. You could use your body weight to press forward. This does feel weird, so be very careful not to break, don't break a finger. Same with the thumbs. Thumbs have to press back when you do this, and you pull your hands back. It's kind of, for me, this is using my really strong shoulders and arms to stretch into my fingers. So make sure there's lots of sensation there, but not pain, whatever you're doing, however you choose to do this. The stuff using the thighs is a lot to do with mechanics and how you shift your body weight. So alternate, little bit of work is good. Do this. This is, I'm going to come close to the screen. This is really nice. To just start to massage out your wrists. Use your thumbs and really press into all these little gaps and nooks and crannies. Give them a really nice little massage out. You can sort of feel all of the gaps. And make sure you remember to do both sides. So in the course of your day, especially if you're a person who tends to use your hands a lot, or if you tend to have arthritis and things like that, this is quite nice, soothing feeling, I think. I quite like this. Okay, hands are done. Check them out. Something a little bit different this time. And we're going to finish with cat-cow today. So the spine, we've done all the work. The spine's going to be nice and limber, and then we'll finish with some nice soft breaths. I think we've done quite a lot, haven't we? So hopefully, can you think of anything we've missed? I'll unmute you if you can think of anything. No? Okay. Awesome. All right. However you like to do it. I like hands down by the sides, tall in the spine. Close your eyes, find that center where we started. So nice and tall. Just feel the crown of the head lifting, shoulders down, hands down by the sides, palms facing forward. And on your exhale, round your spine back into the seat. Remember, it's the curve of the spine. Bow the head, palms turn back. Inhale to open up, chest lifts, heart lifts, shoulders draw back and down, palms forward, tailbone pulls back. So your lumbar region is pulling away from the chair. Exhale to round and inhale to open. Thinking about the way that the spine, different parts of the spine, press into the back of your seat. Always exhaling to round. It doesn't matter if you do get the breath wrong. The reason we do it this way is because anatomically it makes sense. Physically, it makes sense. The belly has more space. When you round, you can suck your belly in if you want to as you round. And so always just a little reminder, cat-cow. Cow pose is when your heart is lifted, and cat pose is when your back is rounded. And if you need to remember that, the way to remember is that if you were down on all fours, the arching of the back is an angry cat lifting its spine. And the moo, the cow pose is more of how cows lift their heads when they moo. There's a kind of an opening around the throat. One more, really soft, really comfortable. And when you finish, let's finish in cow pose with the heart lifted, feeling nice and open. Bring this back to neutral, so you're staying tall. Hands come and rest on the thighs, palms are down. Keep your eyes closed. Keep your crown of your head lengthening towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale long and slow through the mouth. Just allow your body to soften down as you exhale. Let your body release and be fully supported by the chair as much as you can. Feel the weight of the soles of the feet on the ground. Allow your belly, your thighs, your calves, all of the lower body to really soften and relax. Just let the chair do the work. Take the attention up from the belly, let the belly relax, the rib cage, the waist, all soft. Let the chest relax and just notice that slight lift and lower with the breath. Think of it almost like a little sheet of silk that billows up as you breathe in and softens down as you breathe out. Bring your attention to the tops of your shoulders and let gravity do its business. So relax your shoulders so much that you feel like the pull of gravity is just letting them sink down towards the ground. Arms are becoming heavy. And bringing your attention into your head, into your face. Let your throat and your jaw relax. Really let them become quite loose and slack. Allow the tongue to rest behind the lower teeth. Let it relax. Allow the eyelids, the cheeks, and the lips to fully soften, become really light, like clouds resting on the face. And take your attention all the way up to the very top of your head, the crown of your head as it lengthens towards the ceiling. And from there, drift your attention just so that it's hovering above the top of the head. And if you've got a visual sense of imagination, you might like to imagine a beam of sunshine just above your head, washing all the way down over you, your personal beam of sunshine, making you feel quite warm and quite rested. And maybe you can just follow your attention down that beam of sunshine into your body and back to the breath. And we'll have one more really deep breath in and out through the mouth, long and slow. Softly bow the head, so eyes stay closed, we bow the head. And as you open your eyes, you're just gazing towards your legs, so there's just slightly less light coming in. Open the eyes slowly, and then you can lift your gaze back up. And it's hands to heart. Thank you, Ro. You did great. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good week.